When you decide to move on, something changes abruptly. The silence you leave behind becomes deafening, and the absence of your presence is impossible to ignore. You've stopped chasing and trying to prove your worth, and now she can't stop thinking about you. People don't appreciate you when you're present. They begin to miss you when you're absent. In this video, we're going into great detail about why moving on is the ultimate power play and how it leaves a lasting impression on their mind long after you've walked away. Let's begin. Not just leaving, stepping into your power and letting your actions and absence speak louder than words. First, the emptiness the emptiness she didn't see. Saw coming when you made the choice to walk away. She probably didn't see it as a big deal at first. Maybe she thought your absence would be a minor adjustment, something she could shrug off without much effort. Life would simply roll on right. But then, something unexpected happened. The spaces you once filled in her world, spaces she might not have even noticed before, suddenly felt glaringly empty. The text she once expected each morning, silence, the steady presence you provided, the way you made her feel seen, valued, and secure, it's no longer there. Now she's left with a void she didn't anticipate. And here's the thing about voids, they have a way of amplifying what's missing. The more she tries to fill it with distractions, the more she realizes what's gone. That casual confidence she felt when you were around, the assurance that someone cared deeply and consistently for her, has evaporated. What's left is a weight she didn't expect to carry, and the harder she tries to push it aside, the more it lingers, pulling her thoughts back to you when you let go. It's not done out of spite or anger, but out of a recognition that your presence must be intentional. Sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is walk away. When you know staying would drain your energy, compromise your values, or disrupt your sense of inner calm. It's not easy to create that distance. In fact, it's profoundly uncomfortable to leave behind what once felt familiar, but growth doesn't come from clinging to what no longer serves you. It comes from knowing when to let go, even if it leaves others uncomfortable. Think about it like this in Stoicism. There's a principle called amor fati, or loving one's fate. It means accepting and embracing what happens rather than trying to control or resist it. You weren't rejecting her or your shared experiences when you made the decision to go on. You were accepting that the season of your life together had shifted, and staying would only delay the inevitable. Your departure, in a way, was an act of love, not just for yourself, but for her too. It gave her the space to truly feel the weight of her own choices, to recognize the value you brought to her life. And now, as she wrestles with the emptiness you left behind, she's beginning to see just how much you mattered. Here's the irony. Your absence has made you unforgettable. The more she tries to ignore it, the more your image lingers in her mind. She didn't realize it before, but you were a grounding force in her life. You added meaning, security, and calm, and now that you're gone, those feelings are impossible to replicate. Your choice to leave wasn't a sign of weakness. Rather, it was a reminder that sometimes the most meaningful thing you can say is just to move on. Number 2, memories that won't fade, and the weight of your absence start to grow in her mind every time you shared something. But now, with a sharper, more profound clarity, she remembers how you truly listened when she needed to talk, not out of obligation, but because you cared, and she remembers the advice you gave her that wasn't meant to control her, but rather to gently lead her toward a better path. Additionally, there was the quiet strength you demonstrated by being there without expecting anything in return. At the time, these moments may have seemed routine, even forgettable, but now they're everything, and those simple gestures have become irreplaceable. The effects of what you do can sometimes get lost in the noise of daily life, but when you're not around, they shine like beacons. The Stoics instruct us to base our actions on virtue, kindness, patience, and understanding, not for recognition, but because they align with our values. You lived by this whether you realized it or not, and you didn't try to impress her or anyone else. She misses the wisdom behind the advice you gave her, the way you supported her even in silence, and how rare it is to find someone who can provide stability without demanding attention. Now the echoes of that authenticity linger. Picture her sitting by herself, the memories playing over and over in her mind. She begins to notice the void your absence created, the way her world feels a little less secure without you there to ground it. Your presence added something valuable that she might not have appreciated at the time, but now that she's moved on, you've given her the space to truly see what she lost. It's in your silence, your lack of pursuit, that she starts to understand just how much you offered. You've created a ripple effect, and it's not about playing games or trying to control things. It's about staying true to yourself, choosing not to cling to what isn't in your control, and letting the natural course of things unfold. Your development and tranquility allow her to deal with the memories and the realization of what she let slip away, because sometimes the most profound impact comes not from what you say, but from the quiet strength of your absence. And now she can't seem to get you off her mind. Now, consider how your actions, no matter how small, may have affected someone's life without you even realizing it. Have you ever experienced a situation where someone only valued your presence after your departure? I'd love to hear your thoughts about this idea of memories becoming clearer in absence. If you're struggling to find words, simply start typing. Your reflections can spark meaningful conversations, and you never know who might need to hear your insights. Let's connect and grow together today. Number 3. Regret's hefty hand. Regret's heavy hand has a way of infiltrating her mind, doesn't it? It begins subtly, like a shadow she can't shake, and gets louder with each glance at your life from a distance. Maybe it's when she looks through your social media and sees a photo of your calm, steady confidence radiating. Or maybe it's when mutual friends mention how you've been thriving, moving forward with a grace that she now finds irresistible. She notices the tranquility in your life, the ease with which you've let go, and the transformation you've undergone, and suddenly she recognizes that what she once possessed, what she once disregarded, was truly extraordinary. This understanding is not painless. At first, remorse talks to her in whispers, but it doesn't remain silent for long. Why didn't I see his value when I had the opportunity? What if I had fought for him on those questions, been more present, and tried harder? Replay in her head like a never-ending loop, causing a weight she wasn't prepared for, and despite her best efforts to divert her attention, those ideas persist, she casts a long shadow over her days and nights. Detachment helps here. You've moved on because you've realized what's beyond your control isn't worth your peace of mind. She notices your change, whether she realizes it or not, and misses you more. Your quiet strength and refusal to let rejection or loss define you are now the very things that keep you in her thoughts. When you were together, maybe she thought your calmness was just a given, a natural part of who you were, but now that distance can bring clarity. She realizes it wasn't just calmness, but the kind of strength that comes from inner discipline, the kind of peace that most people spend a lifetime chasing, and she let it go. This does not imply that you bear the responsibility for her regret. Your current demeanor, characterized by a quiet confidence in your actions, conveys a powerful message without the need for words. This silence, brimming with growth, purpose, and self-respect, is the most powerful of all 4. On the contrary, your focus stays on the path ahead, and you're not thinking about what could have been, because you've realized the Stoic truth that the past cannot be changed. Only lessons learned from your life are proof of this lesson. The attainment of stability. Acknowledgement of stability. She may never have spoken it directly, but she secretly relied on you much more than she knew you were her. When life seemed chaotic, Rock's solid presence kept her grounded. Your serene aura had a special way of calming her and putting her inner storms under control. It wasn't just about being there, it was about how you were there. Your presence wasn't loud or showy, rather it was steady and reassuring, like an anchor in turbulent seas. Now that you've moved on, everything feels different for her. The space you once occupied quietly but powerfully now feels glaringly empty. Without you, the chaos in her own life intensifies, leaving her to confront it alone. When the chaos subsides and silence descends, she starts to recognize the rarity of your tranquility. It's not just about missing you. It's about realizing that you gave her a unique sense of security that few could provide, one that didn't require attention, but made all the difference. Looking back, she's starting to realize that she couldn't have found peace anywhere else but in you. By living by that philosophy, you became more than just a partner. You became a source of strength and clarity in her life. When someone encounters such stability, it leaves a lasting impression. Stoicism teaches us to maintain composure during challenging times and to remain unfazed by life's challenges. Your departure leaves a lesson on the importance of emotional stability, composure, and resilience, in addition to a void. As you live your life with purpose and clarity, she's left wondering if she'll ever find that rare energy, that irreplaceable steadiness again. This is because once someone like you touches someone's life, the memory lingers, and the absence speaks louder than words ever could. Moving on wasn't just about letting go. It was also about honoring your own growth and peace of mind. Now that we've examined the impact of losing stability, take a moment to think about how you affect other people's lives, or perhaps how someone affected yours in the past. How do you contribute to the peace or chaos around you? What lessons have you learned about the need for stability and emotional fortitude? Please express your ideas and reflections in the comments section. If you would rather keep it simple, enter "I am here to reaffirm your dedication to inner peace and strength." Your voice counts, and your viewpoint could encourage someone else on their journey by asking them the 5 questions she can't answer. As time goes on, her thoughts turn into a never-ending cycle of hypothetical scenarios, and her mind becomes a battleground of unsolved questions rather than a place of peace. What if I had treated him differently? What if I hadn't pushed him away? These questions don't go away. They haunt her in quiet moments. Each one reflects a reality that she can't alter and must now face. You see, your silence is deliberate, and being resolute isn't just an absence. It's a presence that speaks volumes. It's a powerful statement that doesn't require words to be understood. In Stoicism, we often find that silence holds greater significance than words, as it empowers individuals to confront their own actions. According to Marcus Aurelius, you have control over your thoughts, not external circumstances. Acknowledge this, and by deciding to move on and concentrate on your personal development, you will discover strength. You've regained your authority, and that change has made her examine herself. She is beginning to recognize the things she previously took for granted and understands the significance of your generosity. Your silence has become her teacher, louder than any argument or explanation you could have given. It forces her to sit with her doubts, replay the moments she brushed off, and realize the role she played in the distance that now exists. Think about it this way. By moving on, you've set an example. Patience and presence weren't guaranteed. They were gifts that she assumed would always be there. You've demonstrated that your happiness and self-worth come first, and that has left an impression on her that she finds difficult to get rid of. Your absence isn't just felt, it's transformative. It forces her to consider her decisions. Wonder if she miscalculated your value, and accept that choices have consequences. Your energy is no longer wasted when you adopt the Stoic philosophy of controlling what you can and letting go of what you can't. You now know you don't need to chase someone to prove your worth. This isn't about pursuing revenge. Your absence. She's coming to the profound realization that you were a chapter she ended too soon, and she can't stop reading it again in her head as she watches you thrive. Seeing you succeed. She now observes a distinct version of you compared to the one she once knew. You've undergone unexpected transformations. Your efforts to enhance your physical, emotional, and mental health have yielded results that surpass mere words. Your confidence is evident now in the way you carry yourself, overcome obstacles, and show up for your own life. Whether you realize it or not, she's watching, and every step you take causes her to stop and think twice about everything. Perhaps it's the way your career is finally taking off, or your commitment to your health, or the way you've embraced personal development. Whatever it is, she sees it, and her regret grows with each success and moment of your success. She wonders what life would have been like if she had stayed and valued what you brought to the table. But let's be honest for a moment. This is about proving to yourself that you can overcome any setback, rejection, or moment of doubt, not about her or making someone regret their decisions. Instead of growing for approval or to win someone back, a Stoic man grows for himself, realizing that true strength comes from within, by controlling his emotions and focusing on what he can control. The best way to respond to loss, disappointment, or even rejection, according to Marcus Aurelius, is to live well, not out of spite, but out of a strong commitment to your own path. That's what you're doing. You're not wondering if she's noticing that you're too busy creating the life you deserve, a life that is grounded in authenticity and purpose. The thing is, though, that this version of you, the one who has grown and moved on, is attractive to everyone who comes into contact with you. People like confident, organized people. It's not about being perfect, but being your best every day. If she can't stop thinking about you, that's her journey to discover that yours is to keep going forward so that you can continue to thrive and grow. Not for her or anyone else, but for you. If you've made it this far, it signifies your commitment to personal growth and self-improvement. Take a moment to think about what thriving looks like to you, what one recent action you've taken to improve your life is, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Tell me what you learned most from this in a comment, or simply let me know that you're following this road. I'm doing excellent for myself in the comments. You should honor each accomplishment on your path. Let's keep going forward together. 7th place, the strength that comes from using your absence. It's not just that you're no longer physically present, it's also that the emotional space you once occupied, the strength you carried, the calm you brought, the sense of security that made her feel grounded, is all gone now, and she feels it in ways she never would have imagined. You see, your absence has a way of magnifying what she may have taken for granted. It's not about being vindictive or trying to make her miss you. Rather, it's about stepping back to honor your own worth. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That's exactly what you're doing by moving on. You're embodying the quiet, steadfast strength of a man who knows his worth. She no longer needs to prove his worth through words or deeds. Instead, she can only reflect on her own decisions. When you were there, it might have been easy for her to overlook what you brought into her life. But now that you've walked away, that void speaks louder than any words ever could. It forces her to reflect not just on you, but on herself. And here's the thing, it's not bitterness or anger that makes her think of you. It's that she's real, eyesing what she had and how much of a difference your presence made. Imagine a sturdy tree that provides shade on a hot summer day. People might rest under its branches without giving it much thought, but the moment that tree is gone, they're left exposed to the harsh sun, realizing just how much they relied on its shelter. That's what your absence does. It's not loud or brash, it's subtle, but undeniable. Your ability to move on, to live with purpose and focus on your own path has become a quiet testament to your strength. By letting go, you've chosen peace over chaos, dignity over desperation, and in doing so, you've shown her, and perhaps even yourself, that you're the kind of man who doesn't chase after what isn't meant for him. Now, she's left with the echoes of who you were in her life. It's not easy for her, but that's not your burden to carry. Your only task is to continue being the man you've always strived to be, calm, resilient, and focused on what truly matters. And maybe she'll realize that losing you wasn't just losing a person. It was losing something rare, something she may not find again. So keep moving forward, not out of spite, but because that's what strong men do. Let your absence speak for itself. Trust me, it already has number 8. Her attempts to reconnect. She begins to reach out almost hesitantly in ways that might seem small, but are deeply intentional. Perhaps it's the sudden, like on an old photo you forgot was even there, a casual text that feels oddly out of place, or a mutual friend mentioning that she's been asking about you. These little gestures, as subtle as they may seem, carry weight. They're her way of testing the waters, of seeing if that door she once walked away from might still be open. But here's where things have shifted. You respond to her attempts with cool indifference. You're not amused, yet you're not upset either. The fact is, you moved on and discovered something that many people find difficult to understand: inner peace. You are now more concerned with the future than with the past, or what may have been. And this isn't about retaliation or spite. It's about preserving the peace you've worked so hard to create, which is no longer accessible in the same manner, since you realize that going back in time frequently causes more harm than good. Detachment does not equate to coldness or a hardened heart. Rather, it is a manifestation of wisdom. Consider the Stoics' perspectives on relationships and life. According to Marcus Aurelius, you have control over your thoughts, not external circumstances. You've learned that lesson and aren't ignoring her out of bitterness or rage. Recognize this, and you'll find strength. You're just making the decision to put your inner serenity ahead of approval from others. A Stoic man knows that some bridges, even though they were previously strong and full of promise, only lead to turmoil if crossed. Therefore, he doesn't destroy connections, but also doesn't go after people who have already left. Once more, you've made room by stepping back and concentrating on your development and future, and she's now realizing the importance you added to her life. She can't stop thinking about you because she's starting to realize what she missed, and the silence you now carry speaks louder than any words you could ever say. It's a monument to the strength and respect you've developed for yourself. Your lack of response. You remain composed and steadfast. Concentrate. You've chosen to lead with strength, clarity, and grace, and in doing so, you've set a standard that she can't ignore whether she learns from it or not. It's not what she expected, and it's powerful. This isn't about instilling guilt or yearning. Instead, it's about living authentically and embracing the unpredictable. In that way, there's freedom number 9. The ascent of the development of admiration. She may not have initially recognized your unique qualities, perhaps mistaking your discipline for rigidity or your resilience for stubbornness, but now that you've taken a step back and concentrated on your own development, she begins to see you differently. The qualities she once overlooked now radiate like precious gems, exemplified by your ability to remain composed. Every time she hears about your most recent achievement or sees a glimpse of your progress, It stirs something inside her. I once dismissed your discipline, but now it seems to indicate a person who knows who they are and what they want in life. Under pressure, your quiet strength and your focus on creating a life of value are the things she can't stop thinking about. Your resilience, once misinterpreted, feels like an anchor in a world full of fleeting relationships and ill-considered intentions. She understands that finding someone who shares your depth, character, and presence is not only challenging but possibly impossible. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, stop arguing about what a good man should be. That's exactly what you've done. You stopped looking to others, including her, for approval and instead embraced the things that you can control, such as your actions, thoughts, and choices. And in doing so, you became a man of substance, the kind of man whose worth is independent of other people's approval. Your absence and silence aren't manipulative tactics, rather, they're results of your decision to put your peace first, invest in your personal development, and let go of things beyond your control. But here's the catch. This very act of moving forward with strength and grace creates an undeniable pull. She can't help but admire you now, but that admiration is bittersweet. It's tangled with regret, because she knows that the man you've become, the man you've always been, might no longer be hers to hold. And so here you are, embodying a truth that many people miss. A man's greatest power lies in how he carries himself. It's not about pursuing, proving, or convincing. It's about demonstrating your strength every day. Calmness and self-respect are magnetic. They draw people in, sometimes even those who once doubted you. But the beauty is, you're not doing it for them. You're doing it because it's who you are, and that is the most irresistible thing of all. Let this be a reminder. When you commit to being the best version of yourself, others will notice. Some will admire you, some will regret losing you, but the most important thing is that you'll know your worth, and that is a power no one can take away. Number 10. Her quiet struggle with jealousy. She begins comparing herself to your new partner, analyzing every picture, smile, and little detail, wondering endlessly what they have that I didn't, and what made them deserve the version of him I couldn't hold on to. Imagine her scrolling through her silent battle with jealousy on social media or hearing from mutual friends that you're with someone new. It's not just a passing thought for her, it's a weight that presses on her heart. Turns into the power of moving on is really evident in her inner struggle, which isn't just about you being with someone else, but also about realizing that she let go of someone she now views as irreplaceable. Developing yourself and your well-being is more important than getting even or changing her mind. A Stoic guy doesn't dwell on the past or daydream about what could have been. Instead, he concentrates on creating a life that is so meaningful and full of fulfillment that people can't help but notice the calm he exudes. Take time to consider this. In this situation, the best way to respond to rejection or loss is not to dwell in bitterness or try to purposefully make her miss you, as Marcus Aurelius once said. Instead, you should live a life that naturally inspires admiration and curiosity. You move forward with grace and strength, choosing actions that are in line with your values rather than being motivated by resentment or validation. This is about more than simply relationships. It's about personal development. When you focus on controlling your own emotions and behaviors rather than trying to influence how other people see you, you produce something unique. Liberty. A Stoic man doesn't let outside events or opinions dictate his inner peace. He doesn't seek validation or approval because he knows that his value isn't dependent on anyone else's opinion, not even hers. The truth is that moving on isn't about forgetting her or acting as though she never mattered. Rather, it's about realizing that her chapter in your life is over and choosing to write the next one with intention. Every step you take forward is a testament to your strength and self-respect. And when she realizes that someone else now gets to experience the version of you that she took for granted, it's not your job to justify or explain your actions. Your growth speaks louder than any words could ever, so keep creating your life and concentrating on the things that really matter, your passions and your goals. Once you adopt this mindset, you'll discover that you're not just moving on, you're changing. It doesn't matter if she can stop thinking about you, because you've already discovered the freedom that comes with letting go. Number 11. You've evolved. Let me tell you something powerful. The man she's thinking about, the one she can't seem to get out of her head, doesn't exist anymore. The version of you she vividly recalls is now a closed chapter. You did change. You used the pain, lessons and solitude to become stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. She finds herself reliving old memories of your time here. Rewriting your story. The beauty of personal growth is that it's not just about moving forward, it's about transforming. Now, when she looks back, it's not because she wants to go back in time, but rather because the current version of you has become someone she can't ignore, rather than focusing on the breakup or attempting to control her emotions. The man you've been shaping is no longer defined by what happened, but by how he rose above it. You've turned inward. You found strength in accepting what you couldn't change and focusing on what you could yourself. That's the kind of man who stands out, who becomes unforgettable, not because he seeks validation, but rather because he is deeply rooted in his own sense of purpose. Think about this: growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you made the conscious choice to become better, to take even the hardest moments and let them refine you. Maybe there were nights when you questioned everything, or mornings when it felt easier to stay the same, but you didn't. And now, while she's grappling with the idea that you've moved on, you're living proof of what it means to thrive. Picture her scrolling through old photos or hearing your name in conversation. What she feels isn't just nostalgia, it's a realization. The man she let go of isn't coming back, and the man you've become is someone she no longer has access to. That's the silent power of moving on. Not to make her regret, but to remind yourself of how far you've come. Your growth isn't just about proving a point to anyone else. It's about you stepping into your full potential. And as you continue on this path, remember every moment of resilience, every decision to let go and focus on your own. She can't stop thinking about you because of your journey, which makes you more of the man you were meant to be. Thank you for sticking with me through this video. Keep moving forward. The past no longer holds you back. Final results. Let's consider what we've learned today. Life has a way of bringing to light the worth of what we bring to others, frequently in our absence. Walking away isn't about making someone miss you or playing games. It's about respecting your own value, maintaining your peace, and demonstrating a strength that resonates beyond words. By proceeding with grace and intention, you leave more than just a wound. You leave a lasting impression on this path of personal development. Stoic ideas serve as a reminder that genuine power is in our ability to manage our thoughts, behaviors, and self-respect. As you forge your own path, keep in mind to prioritize what is consistent with your beliefs. What is essential is how you present yourself. Whether or not someone recognizes your value is not what defines you. If you found this video to be meaningful, please share your opinions with me. Before you leave, don't forget to watch the suggested videos on your screen. They are full of even more insights to help you navigate relationships and personal growth with clarity and confidence. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Leave a comment below with your biggest takeaway, and if you thought this was insightful, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need this message today.